Thank you very much for coming here today. My name is Paul Duma, Executive VP and Director of Osisko Metals. Next couple of minutes, I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce you to the company and our projects that are ongoing right now. This is our standard forward-looking statement and cautionary notes regarding some of the technical information and the financial information. Who is Osisko Metals? Osisko Metals is part of a bigger group called the Osisko Group. It's a flagship by Osisko Gold Royalties, which is the fourth largest royalty company in the world right now. We're very proud to be part of that group. Over the years, the Osisko Group has created over $9 billion worth of value. We have access to their technical team, we share their offices, access also to their resources. So very proud to be part of that group. Moving forward, we were part of an accelerator model within that group. The majority of the accelerator vehicles there are all focused on precious metals. We are the only company focused on base metals. Why invest in Osisko Metals? We control two of Canada's premier zinc camps right now, the Pine Point camp and the Bathurst mining camp. We have advanced projects with tremendous upside potential to it. The Pine Point project, we acquired the Pine Point project in February 23rd, 2018, and within 9 months, we conducted over 60,000 meters of drilling, and we established a mineral resource of 38 million tons, grading 6.6% zinc equivalent. It equates out to 5.5 billion pounds of metal. Our 2019 objective for Pine Point is to grow the resource from 38 million tons to in excess of 50 million tons. Bathurst Mining Camp, key project there is the Kianakon project. We also initiated a mineral resource estimate this year in February, 5.5 million tons with approximately a little over 8% zinc lead equivalent. We're going to be testing the mineralization zone there that extends for over 75 kilometers. The company has a solid balance sheet right now, zero debt with a little over $12 million in the treasury. We have a trusted reputation because of the Osisko Group, access to technical expertise, and also access to capital. The projects are located in mining-friendly jurisdictions, which I think is essential today if you're looking at investment in an asset. Pine Point project is located in Northwest Territories, just above the Alberta border. And the Bathurst mining camp, the Kianakon project, is on the Atlantic coast of Canada in the province of New Brunswick. We have an executive team and a board of directors with a proven track record. I'd like to draw your attention to the right of the screen here. The board of directors, Mr. Robert Wares and Mr. John Brzezinski, were instrumental in the discovery of a deposit called the Canadian Malartic. Canadian Malartic is a world-class gold deposit, 13 million ounces of gold. They eventually sold that asset off to Agnico Eagle and Yamana. Luc Lasalle was the engineer that built that project on time and on budget. Right now, he is on his 12th mine build. We have Amy Satoff, Kathy Singer, with extensive legal expertise at a Dundee Bank Corp out of Toronto. Claude Charon is a tax specialist working out of Montreal. Mr. Jeff Hussey and myself also sit on the board of the company. So well-rounded off, proven track record individuals that are backing the company. Touch base quickly on our share capital structure. We have approximately today 136 million shares outstanding on a fully diluted basis, 162. What's important to note in this is key shareholders. We control approximately 54% of the company within the 8 shareholders. The majority of the shareholders are Osisko Gold Royalties and Mining that hold about 19%. JP Morgan out of the UK, 6.7%. Zebra Holdings is a private holding company from Lucas Lundin with a little over 4%. BlackRock Investment, over 3%. And the management has a significant equity position in the company as well, almost 13%. So we control about 54% of the equity out there. Right now, we have a couple analysts covering the company. Canaccord Genuity from Kevin McKenzie, Paradigm Capital and Haywood Capital Markets. All of these analysts have a target roughly around $1. And as I mentioned before, we have a market cap 88 million with approximately 12 million in the treasury. Our focus is zinc, basically. Why we've been focusing on zinc? Well, the supply crunch is already impacting global zinc inventories. And what we see here in this slide, in the red and the blue, is basically the Shanghai and the LME inventories. And what we've experienced over the last couple of years is a chronic decline in the inventories itself. Right now, we are trading at what we call a critical level below the 300,000 ton level, which represents basically 10-day supply of zinc. The actual inventories as we stand today roughly are around 175,000 tons to 200,000 tons. One of the main reasons that causes decline is a lot of mine closures, Lachine, Century, New Brunswick, and there hasn't been a lot of capital that's been put back into developing projects or actually exploring for new projects. So we believe that we're situated in the fine situation right now, a great position, taking advantage of the commodity cycle, especially for this zinc commodity. Pine Point project is our flagship right now. This is what is going to unleash some value to the company. As I mentioned earlier before, we converted historical resources to a National Instrument 43101. So we have right now 38 million tons grading 6.6% zinc. That equates to 3.9 billion pounds of zinc and 1.6 billion pounds of lead. The drilling that we've done at Pine Point so far is all near surface mineralization. Every drill hole is above 85 meters. The asset itself has fantastic infrastructure. We have access to paved roads. There's over 100 kilometers of haul roads that are 25 meters wide. We also have access to rail access within 60 kilometers of the property. And we also have access to a hydroelectrical facility on site. Pine Point project was a past producer from Cominco for over 20 years. It produces a high-grade concentrate. High margins on a potential production on that asset. We have a significant footprint there. It's just not a property. We control the whole camp. It's a district scale exploration upside that we have there as well. We're going to do additional exploration this year. We're going to do a gravity survey combined with a LiDAR survey that's going to identify additional mineralization. And what we're trying to do here is to move this asset forward, make it attractive for a tier one producer. And we strongly believe that before the year end, we'll be able to have a resource in excess of 50 million tons. As I mentioned before, we control a significant footprint in this camp. The property extends 60 kilometers long by 30 kilometers wide. The bulk of the mineralization is contained in these three zones here, where 2/3 of the mineralization is the north zone, east zone, and the central zone. So there's lots of room for additional mineralization here. The following slide just shows you a bit of the geological setting where the mineralization lies. The first slide or first picture is a plan view of the mineralizations. It's continuous deposits throughout the property. They're basically prismatics or tabular deposits within this property. Pine Point is a unique high-grade open pittable zinc project. If we were to produce a 6.6% zinc open pit, it would be the equivalent of producing a 2.5% copper open pit or a 3-gram ton gold open pit. So it's very unique compared to our peers. Zinc mining is unique as well because 90% of the gold production is done from open pits, 95% of the copper production is done by open pit, and 90% of the zinc production is mined underground. This slide gives us a comparable amongst our peers. Right now we are situated at the 5.5 billion pound level, metal contained in the ground. We're looking to move this northwards of 50 million tons. But if you compare our peers here, there's a couple of them that have more tonnage or more deposits than we do, but everybody is struggling with a couple of items here. And some of the challenges that most of these companies has is remoteness and infrastructure. I mean, it's pretty difficult. Metallicity, it's a deposit in the middle of Australia, the desert of Australia. The deposit is 1.2 kilometers at depth. So a lot of these companies have challenges. That's why we think we're unique, because it's open pit and we have access to infrastructure. As I mentioned before, Cominco operated this for over 20 years, from mid-60s to the mid-80s, and it produced a premier concentrate. This slide here demonstrates the penalty levels if you're going to produce this concentrate. And we made it comparable with some other producers within our industry, or some of the other deposits that are known right now, Antamina, McArthur, Mount Isa. And what you see on these charts here, you have the minor elements and the major elements, and the P levels represent the penalty levels at the refineries. So as you can see, Pine Point is a very premier concentrate, very low in deteriorated elements. So we would not incur any penalties at any refinery level. We would basically get a premium for it. The historical production, high recoveries, both zinc and lead, over 90%. The concentrates of zinc is between 55 and 60%, and the concentrates of lead is over 75%. What makes it also unique is that we have access to rail. Seeing that you're producing a commodity, a base metal, you have to either rail it out or use a vessel. We have access to railhead here. What you see is a Canadian rail system throughout the country in red and in blue. We are just east of Hay River, about 45 kilometers ahead of the rail, so we'd have access to different refineries or the Asian markets throughout the country itself. Our other asset is the Bathurst mining camp. The project there is called the Kianicon. We probably own the largest footprint in Bathurst right now. We own 63,000 hectares. Bathurst is the third largest VMS camp in the world. Brunswick, number 12 and number 6 underground mine, probably the largest one for 50 years, produced over 150 million tons, grading approximately 12% zinc lead equivalent. Our goal there is to continue to develop the Kianicon project. It was a historical project that was owned by a private family that we ended up acquiring in December 2017. We did publish a mineral resource on that in February of this year. So the mineral resource contains approximately 1 billion pounds of metal. Our goal was just to convert the historical to 43-101 and continue developing or testing and extending the main zone and the Titan zone at depth and at strike. I won't talk too much about this because our main project was, or is, I should say, the Pine Point project. This just gives you an idea where the project is located. Brunswick number 12 and number 6 are approximately 8 kilometers east of that of those underground mines. We're going to continue to explore this at depth and on strike. Quickly, just to summarize, because I know we're limited here in time. Pine Point, what to expect for 2019. We're going to do a exploration campaign that's going to extend hopefully extend and identify additional mineralization at Pine Point, airborne gravity that's going to start in Q2 and by the end of Q2 2019. And we're targeting really to move up our mineral resource to excess of 50 million tons. Right now, that's an inferred mineral resource. We're looking to move it to indicated before the end of this year. And a PEA is planned for early Q1 2020. And as I mentioned, Bathurst Mining Camp, we're expanding the extensions, the mineralization zones, both at the main zone and the Titan zone. We also have a portfolio of grassroots projects in Quebec, which fills up the pipeline for our projects moving forward. We just received a US listing 3 weeks ago, and by Q3, we're expected to be listed on the TSX Big Board this year. Thank you very much.